dentistry was my first choice. Since I was young, I really enjoyed working with my hands. Things like fixing my mom's spectacles when the screws came out, or doing handiwork and craft work like cross-stitch. Because I like working with my hands, the procedural nature of dentistry really appealed to me. So special care dentistry is the field of dentistry that deals with patients with special needs. So this may be patients with physical or learning disabilities such as Down syndrome. It can also be patients with complex medical histories or medical conditions that may affect how they receive dental care. When I was a dental officer fresh out of school, I recall seeing quite a few special needs patients, and it was through these experiences that made me realize that some of these patients with special needs actually have limited access to care. I felt that these people deserve more holistic care. I wanted to get further training so that I could provide this care for this group of patients, and also could do more in educating or increasing the awareness of this group of patients amongst dentists. So it's actually pretty much the same as medical. It's not as complex as it seems. A lot of things have to be done without. For example, you won't have the suction, you won't have the dental chair. Patients just sit on a regular chair or plastic stool. They lean backwards and we perform the treatment for them. Most of the time we just perform dental extractions, so you won't really need the suction. This was something that my father encouraged as well. So both my brother and I are dentists, and he says that we have been so blessed and we've received so much from the community, and so we should use our skills to help the needy. And that's why we try to make it a point to go on these overseas mission trips regularly.
It was very tough initially being a new nurse. I think first year, I started to feel like tired easily. I just felt something is wrong. So one day I just go to the doctor. It was atrial septal defect, a hole in the heart. Yeah, I was eventually told that I need an open heart surgery. I was in the ICU. I was lying there, I was thirsty, I couldn't speak. I have a tube in my mouth. All I wanted is my favorite drink, Coke or something. But you just couldn't speak, you couldn't even move because there were too many tubes on you. But I remember like waking up in the middle of the night. There's this voice that felt really comforting. Just whisper to your ears and say, "Hey, are you okay? We are going to change you, we're going to turn you, we're going to sponge you. Don't worry, we'll take out the tube, and then by then you can start giving you some drinks to drink." So it felt very soothing because you were at a point that you couldn't speak at all. So it's someone that could speak on your behalf, and it felt really, really good. That's where you felt like, as being a nurse myself, many a times when I tell these things to patients, like you try to comfort them, you try to encourage them, but you felt it's just being your job. But at a point when I was lying there, I felt like this voice is no longer a job. It brings more than a job, like more like a comfort to patient. When I was young, I received a lot of help from others. So I told myself one day when I grew up, if I can, then I want to give back to the community, the society. And nursing has allowed me to do so. And I felt really good that I'm in this position to help the others by this means.
In Singapore, our neonatal mortality is one among the best in the world. I decided to choose neonatology because it would make a very long-term, impact, for the child. Well, it has been quite good opportunity to not only to manage newborn babies and also opportunity to teach and do research in neonatal field. Neonatology is a very hard work. It's a dedicated work. We don't have day or night. But when small babies, they improve and grow and develop normally. When the parents are happy, that keeps us going. And when I went there, I realized the atrocities, of the Cameroons, how all the educated professors were killed. And so that gave me motivation to help the neonatologists in Cambodia. So I go there and conduct workshop, help to update their knowledge. And also the other neighboring countries in the region like Myanmar, Surabaya in Indonesia, and we have done voluntary work in South India as well. So we should always help the neighbors where their mortality and morbidity is quite high. So that is a mission which I have undertaken.
I'm working as a specialty care nurse under neurology since AH time. So I've been doing stroke and epilepsy and Parkinson's since then. Being a specialty nurse, that's where you can focus on the patient and on the relatives. You have more time talking to them, you have more time counseling, and you have more time speaking to the family, see what are the problems that they're going to face, see what are the issues that they have, so that we can try as much as possible to engage them and get them back to the society. The medical tent is made of tent. It's nicely built tent, but it's way up the hill, and they divide it into emergency department and the pharmacy. People there for rangers, they will queue as early as 7 a.m. to queue there just to wait for us to open our clinic. So once we open up the clinic, we set up the clinic, we take in the patient's height and weight. So we see children, babies, adults, elderly, and they look older for their age. They're malnourished. The kids running around without any shoes, without any clothes. Some of them are naked. Sometimes I just wonder, we are in Singapore, we have all this privilege, and all these kids in the third world country, they don't have clothes to wear, they don't have proper food to eat, they don't have medical help. So it touched my life and my other colleagues who came. For those people who want to help, with a nursing background, with a healthcare background, you have the privilege because you have the knowledge so that you can share.
In 2006, I was still working in a German company. I was there for 8 years as an operation manager. Initially, they say it's very easy, just eat and play with elderly. I think there's a lot of meaningful things more than just eat and play. You have to build relationship with the elderly, you gain their trust, and it has become so close to you. They are like my parents, and they treated me like their daughters, like that. After building a relationship, when someone passed on, I really feel sad and down for a moment. But most importantly is when the person is alive, I treat them well. I will still treasure the friendship that I have with the elderly. And I enjoy doing it because there's a satisfaction that I receive back from the elderly to say that they are cared for and they are able to live in a comfortable place. I believe in touch, wanting to share about teaching the elderly to empower them, enable them to take care of themselves. And most importantly, we want the elderly to enjoy quality life so that they can live in a comfortable house. The reason why I want to upgrade myself is because I find that taking up psychology can help me to have lifelong learning, to learn the behavior of elderly colleagues as well as volunteers. To me, I find that as long as I'm working, I'm fit, I want to enjoy myself. I know that one day I'll retire. During this time, I want to enjoy what I'm doing so that I don't regret it one day. Because there's meaningful life being touched, and then you can try your best to help them.
Since young, I think my mom noticed that I like to care for those younger kids. I heard about Star Pals. Star Pals is kids palliative care, but we do home care. So we are a team with doctors, nurses and social workers. We do home visit to our patients. We look after patients who have life-limiting and life-threatening illnesses. I thought, since I like to communicate with the families, the parents, and then also like to play with the kids, then maybe Star Pals is something that I will go for. Sometimes we will tend to try too hard for the child to like us. But I think just need to be natural, need to be truthful, and then they will actually like you. I would like to thank my organization for supporting me and allowing me to do the things that I love to do.
This centre is the first out-of-hospital community-based centre providing core activities of physiotherapy and occupational therapy. When I joined, I didn't know what I was in for. The only thing is to educate people about Parkinson for the caregivers as well as the patient, and that was what we started to do. I will accept this award and I will credit my late husband for it. I would say that if he did not have Parkinson, I would probably not be walking this journey. I think that was more than 25 years ago when it was confirmed that he had Parkinson disease. Then there was very little information about it out there. Very few people talk about Parkinson because I guess it was the stigma, the way the patients behave. Nobody talks about it, and if they do, it's always an aged issue. Even on the internet, there was very little that you can find. And therefore, that need to have an institution that somebody can come to for help. And we have the Parkinson Society today. Credit must be given to the team that I work with. And as a team, we pulled together our mission and our vision. And because of that, we succeeded having the centre today. So if I say that I'm a volunteer, you know, many a times we think that as volunteers, we are part of it to give. But really at the end of the day, we receive more than we give. A lot of intangible stuff. The joy of seeing another person being very happy because the person feels good, or that the person knows that he or she has got help and support. And those kind of things, how do you measure them? You can't.
My name is Jovin Tan, and I met Uncle Kim Seng since 2006. Kim Seng actually joined the program with us as a sailor, but after some time he felt that it was a bit unfair because of his physical ability. He was sailing and racing against us internally, so he decided to step up to become a volunteer instead with us. Kim Seng will be here with us almost every weekends to help the sailing program, like helping to bring the boats down from the wrecks, helping the sailors in and out of the boats, launching and recovery. He will also be helping us with maintenance of the boat at times as well. So usually when the sailors arrive, Kim Seng and the other rest of the volunteers will help to bring the boats down from the wreck. Kim Seng being the most senior, he will actually guide them, and you'll be surprised that even people who he have not met before, he's able to communicate with them. In my personal opinion, I feel that having Kim Seng winning this award is a good thing because it will actually encourage more youths or people out there, you know, that despite his hearing impairment, he's able to do something good to the society. So hopefully there will be more and more people being able to see highly on him, and then also will be as good as him, and then hopefully more and more able-bodied would actually see this as a good learning point.
2011那个时候我这边跌倒心了，这方面跌倒这边心，我就艾医生在那边看，他就帮我留住了，要开刀了，我就在那边住2个礼拜。
She is looking after the son, but I do come here and have the son, to bring her for exercising because no do exercise. Every day just stay home, nothing to do.
我现在就看看很多，因为现在很多人帮忙我嘛，还有的帮他们的社工还有的帮他们的这些义工，他们也是帮忙我很多的。我不是带我去看医生，如果他没有空他就叫他的同学。
I got married in 2000. Then in 2010, I got pregnant with Jovan. So 2011, Jovan was born. A year later, Sarah was born. When Sarah was born, I took the maternity leave for 4 months. But because of her condition, she needs more medical care, I took 1 month extended leave, and thereafter I quit my job to take care of Sarah full time. I had an agreement with my husband, I will take care of Sarah for the first 2 years of her life. Then after which I'll go back to work. But I think Sarah couldn't communicate. I didn't feel safe again to leave her to just a helper. So I became a full-time caregiver. Interim, we actually had private nurses to help out first. Until I was more settled and I knew exactly how to take care of her. Then that's when I say, okay, I can take care of Sarah on my own, and that's when the next helper came in. Both Jovan and Sarah are schooling. They have to wake up about 5:30 to get ready myself. Then after that, the kids wake up at 6. Then by 6:30, we have to be out of the house. Then I'll send Jovan to school first. Thereafter, I'll send Sarah to school and I'll be in school with Sarah. I guess for parents, we are looking, of course, financial assistance, all this, we can always go back to the hospital, or even the school, social worker. But in terms of emotional support, I actually requested to be connected with fellow parents who may have a child with more medical needs. But I think the most support that I really got from will be from the fellow parents who have gone through the same path. I mean, besides the rare disease group and also the Mummies Chat group. So we do know what we are going through, and we know that even if we are going to share our feelings, no one is there to judge us. They know that we need an avenue to just run it out. Right from the start, we shouldn't feel that because we have a child with medical needs or so-called special needs, then we need to keep ourselves at home. We should step out and be seen, and let the people out there and see that, hey, actually, there's this group of people whereby their child or their loved ones may need more help. I mean, help in the sense that medical needs to keep them living. And don't be afraid to be seen. It's they're just normal human beings, right? We don't need people to pity us because our lives are still great. Yeah. So just need to understand that we are just normal family like any other families out there, and don't treat us any differently.
As healthcare workers, we possess unique skill sets that can be used to bless the patients in our lives. This can be patients who have special needs, or it can be the underprivileged, whether in Singapore or overseas. And I feel that as healthcare workers, we just need to take that step out and make the decision to help them.
Hard work, sincerity and dedication has its rewards. We always do our best. Every baby has a good developmental potential.
Whether you have the medical background or whether you don't have a medical background, you can just volunteer. Regardless, you don't have to go to Ranger, but you can help the people in our own community where there are still a lot of people who need help in the community in Singapore.
Although not many elderly will be happy sometimes, but we try to cheer them and then make their life even more happier, or give them a quality life to live on.
It is drawing the strength of the individual. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. You take a bit from everybody and then you complete it and you see a beautiful picture.